days around.
Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today we'll be looking at Tottenham Hotspur's 1-2 loss against Wolves, as Joao Gomes got 2 goals in a game that Tottenham desperately needed to win to do the double over the Spurs this season. It was a double from Joao Gomes, the first 2 goals he scored for Wolves since February of 2023. In a game that was largely expected to be maybe one of the comebacks where Tottenham could finally bring a performance out of the bag. Son was back from his hiatus from the Asian Cup. We had Bissouma and Sarr back in midfield. Kulusevski looked to be regaining form. We had Romero and Van de Ven. And until 2 days ago, we had Porro and Udogie. And then Ange did announce that both of them suffered muscle injuries, keeping them out of today's game. Porro out for 2 weeks. Udogie is on a case-by-case basis, hopefully back within the next week. But it doesn't matter because we don't have a game for another 2 weeks. But it was just a very, very boring performance today.
Yeah, Udogie and Pedro Porro, huge misses today. I think in multiple instances, especially for that second goal, Emerson definitely could have done better in that position he was in. We could have used Pedro Porro's pace and his defending and his Pedro Porro's pace and defending. He's so much better than Emerson, even though Emerson is much more defensively minded fullback than Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro is still way more confident when defending.
Yeah. Overall, we were just lacked a lot of creativity today. I mean, if you look at the possession stats, we were 71% possession, which I feel like is a story with every game. We are able to boss possession. Something's really going wrong with the way we attack, because every other team can cut through us like a hot knife through butter. Especially Wolves, Brighton, and Brentford, I think, have been able to really do that very easily. Like, they just cut through us right away. But for some reason, we either slow play down or it's that weird horseshoe shape that we pass in, where we try and get our wingbacks all the way up on the sides or the wingers, and then we always go back to the midfield. There's that weird horseshoe shape that we do. Instead of penetrating the middle, we kind of go around. We always get stopped there, and we miss out on a lot of goal opportunities.
We can definitely see that working in full flow with Udogie and Pedro Porro. But with Emerson and Davies, I don't think
we have to make some
definitely
tweaks.
Did not work today.
Yeah. The first half was probably the worst part of the game. I mean, there was no creativity whatsoever from Tottenham. And despite us having so much of the ball, Wolves were easily the more exciting side. They were creating chances. All that Tottenham really had was possession going from them. Every time we went forward, we weren't able to do anything, and Wolves had it, and then they counterattacked the other way. And it did eventually pay off in the 42nd minute when Pablo Sarabia put in an in-swinging corner, and Joao Gomes, who is completely unmarked, by the way, puts his header into the top left corner, way past Vicario, way out of the reach. I mean, one thing is our attacking, motives, but right now, what was that set piece defending?
Set piece defending was all over the place today.
Yeah, no one was on Joao Gomes. I know we are probably putting a focus on, trying to protect Vicario because of the events of the last couple games where he's been targeted. But it's almost like we were sacrificing the actual defending on corners to protect Vicario. And Joao Gomes was completely unmarked while we had like 4 people around Vicario. And I'm not gonna lie, we looked vulnerable in all 3 of the set pieces that we conceded today. Corners.
Not even the corners, also the free kicks. We looked very, very vulnerable. Yeah. I think fullbacks were not doing their job. I think Davies definitely was doing it. Emerson, yet again, I think we know he's not that great in the air. Even Pedro Porro's not that great in the air, but he has his strategies of kind of getting into the body of the player.
Exactly.
Emerson definitely has to work on that, and we saw his weaknesses exploited today.
Yeah. The second half started completely differently. Tottenham leveled within 40 seconds after the restart, as the ball is worked into the right forward side of the pitch with Kulusevski, Richarlison, and Sarr all in the vicinity. The ball finds its way to Kulusevski, who tricks his way past Dawson, and then Jose Sa, and puts the ball into the back of the net. A technically beautiful goal to get Tottenham on level terms. And by that point, it looked like we had, second half syndrome was back, and we were going to start scoring again, just like we did in our last couple of games where we just suddenly come alive in the second half. But unfortunately, that did not hold true because Wolves, oh my God, they defended excellently. They shut us down every time we get forward.
They just sat back with their 5 at the back. I swear, they were literally playing a 5-5. I think they
Yeah.
were playing a 5-5.
When they were
5-5-1.
defending, 5 were
Or
back.
5-4-1,
When they
5-4-1.
were going forward, those 5 players in the front were just racing forward.
Pedro Neto would just hang up there,
Yep,
and
exactly.
which is how we conceded that goal.
Yeah. And then, exactly, that goal that we conceded, the second one, in the 63rd minute, after about 3 different chances for Spurs, none of them taken. Joao Gomes puts the ball into the back of the net again. Pedro Neto grabs onto a cleared corner from Tottenham and runs down the field completely by himself. Emerson tries to stick with him, but honestly, at the end, he just kind of fell apart,
Fizzled out.
Emerson. And Pedro Neto just had to pick out a nice little pass straight to Joao Gomes to mark it, blast it into a basically empty net. In that point, there was a lot of problems in that defending.
Yeah, that was a lot of problems. And this we also saw against Brentford. It was, I forget who it was, might have been Embuemo. I don't remember if he was injured when he played them, when he played us. I don't really remember. I believe it was Lewis Potter, Ivan Toney, Maupai, Rorslev, and Jensen. They would all get on the wings when we played Brentford. They exploited us through the wings, and Wolves almost did the same, except more.
They just exploited us across the field.
In a counter-attack.
It wasn't even on the wings. It was across the entire field. Wolves were exploiting us completely. And, you know, so many problems from this specific goal. Firstly, our corners. Our corners were absolutely horrendous today.
They were not good.
Like, considering the players we have, we've got, Basuma and Sarr, who are both pretty tall. We've got Romero, Van de Ven. Kulusevski's pretty physical. Richarlison is a giant in the box sometimes, and still none of them could get their heads on it, which asks questions of our corners and set pieces, both defending and attacking. And then after that, we lose the ball.
I think we need those Pedro Porro corners again.
Yeah, I think that's
he has
the key,
that
yeah.
magic.
We definitely lost something when Ivan Perisic left, with an injury. We lost our corner taking ability. He's the only one with an ability to swing in a proper corner.
I think Pedro Porro can also do it almost to his ability.
It's getting better, but Perisic is still the GOAT at that at Tottenham, and he's been for a while. And then the defending, we had Sarr, Van de Ven, and Royale all on Pedro Neto, which is fine. No one's marking Joao Gomes, and Bissouma was running up alongside of him, but he just kind of held short and allowed Joao Gomes to run past him. That's basically how the goal formed. So just defensive mistakes kind of came together to just mess us up completely. And for the rest of the game, it really didn't change. I mean, I thought we were going to have a little bit of a spark. We brought Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner on. Nothing crazy.
I think the subs were decent moves. There were two mistakes in the subs. First of all, we should have kept one of Bissouma or Sarr on. Sarr was not having the best day, so I think that was right. Bissouma could have stayed up. We do know that he tends to make mistakes. But when Wolves are sitting back, we really need someone who can carry the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
And we brought Højbjerg on, who's a defensive midfielder, prone to making mistakes late in the match. Should not have brought him on. And even though Kulusevski did score, instead of bringing Madison off, we could have brought Kulusevski off.
That's what I thought.
He was high on confidence. He scored, but he's not that pacey. We know he's not that influential late in the match.
Yeah, and he had played a whole match already, so... just some questionable decisions from Ange. But I think we all knew that this first season would never be just a sweet run in the cotton candy world of unicorns, right? It's going to take a long time. And this is the part that Pochettino and everyone was talking about with the rebuild, that we're going to go through a lot of losses and a lot of frustration. But we just have to stick behind him, believing that he knows what he's doing. And I think he does. So we're going to incur a lot of losses this season, but hopefully it's all worth it in the end. But that's it for our reaction to Wolves' 2-1 win over Tottenham in the Premier League, as Joao Gomes scored a double, his first goals for Wolves since February 2023 to beat Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. If you enjoyed and want to see more Spurs content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what your thoughts on this game were, and until next time.
Come on, you Spurs!